Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to my channel and to some Sunday scrapping. The layout I'm doing today, I did it Khristina Sorge's Spring and Summer Stash Bash, and that's why I had all this paper out. We were supposed to pull a collection, which I did, and it is Simple Stories Brawling Coat, and I hadn't used it yet. I'd gotten it off of Peachy Cheap, and I've been wanting to use it. I just hadn't used it yet. And I was glancing through the papers to see which ones I was going to use on this layout. Now, when I pulled the photo, I thought we were just going to do a single page layout, but it's a double. And I did have another picture of my other grandson, and he's sleeping. And I do plan on doing a layout with it, but I thought I'd put it in his album and have the two separate. And we were on a trip. I was sitting in the middle, and I took the picture. I kind of just put the phone out in front of me, and I got my elbow. I did not notice that. So I will be covering it up. I mean, I was like, my elbow was right next to the phone, so it takes up a good chunk of the right-hand corner on the bottom. Christina's layout was super cute for a two-page layout, but I'm looking at it trying to use the same things in mine. So I have clusters basically in the same places if she'd had a single page layout. I just moved it all over and layered one on top of the other. She had torn paper up there in the top part of her layout. I was trying to conserve on paper, almost cut it too short. I was able to pull a thin line of tear down there at the bottom though, and get it all the way across. I was trying to conserve though, I mean, this is my first layout with this paper, and I love all of it. So I was just trying to make it go a little bit farther. And here I'm trying to conserve again. I'm wanting that blue paper on the back, but I'm wanting to keep those squares. So I am trying to pick which squares I would be least likely to fussy cut out. And I was thinking about a 30-day layout thing I signed up for that I might need little squares for. And I thought I really should go look at the list and the calendar and see the things so I could know if I could, how many little squares I would need. But I do have two other sheets with little squares that I laid aside just in case. So I may not use this paper for one of them, exactly that page layout. I'm even conserving my background paper. Yeah, I like that gray square. And so look at this chunk I got to save. I like that yellow on yellow star one too that I'm putting on there now. I'm trying to get on there straight. It's super cute. That red, I thought, oh my goodness, if I use the red on top of that yellow, that will look so good. Those two colors go together awesomely. And, I like B-sides better than I do A-sides. So, most of what you're seeing here is the B-sides. If I use the A-sides, I use smaller chunks. But this is such a cute collection, and they all go together great, that it was hard to decide which ones I wanted to use on this layout. You know how it is, the first layout in a collection, you're thinking, oh, which ones are my favorite? Not so much which ones do I really want for this layout, but except for that yellow and red. And I'm stretching that blue piece of paper as far as I can. I'm cutting that little chunk off and I am going to use it later, but I wanted the bottom to have a little bit of that blue. So I'm going to use the branding strip for that because I'll glance around and I won't see it, but I'll see the branding strip. So I'll use it to have a little bit more at the bottom. Khristina used some cardstock on her layout. I used pattern paper in the same place, but I did put cardstock on the back of my photo. I did a light gray and a darker gray. And yeah, I gutted it because the darker gray I didn't have a very big piece of. And I wanted to stretch it as far as it would go because I didn't know what I was going to need it for. especially since, I am trying to follow along with Khristina, and she does make cute layouts. I went through the chipboard, and all I found that I wanted to use on my layout was an arrow. I tried to use the banner that was across the top, but it did not look good on my layout. There just wasn't a big enough space where it would be like a banner. It looked like it was just crowded in there and was a chipboard piece that did not belong. I pulled out that 2x3 card. Well, I think it was ephemeral because she had one up in her left-hand corner. I believe, yeah. I think hers said hello, and then she added to it to make her title. And I thought, well, which one do I want to add up in this corner? And I was looking at them, and I seen that do your thing. Well, I'm going to add dude to it. And I'm just going to kind of put a catty corner on the corner of that instead of, you know, having dude as the last word. I had it as the first word. And I'm just trying to decide how to lay everything. I will end up putting my 2x3 card on foam tape so I can slide that arrow in underneath it and it looks like it belongs. Yeah, I will leave an open spot for the arrow though. And here I'm doing the dude, and it is the ephemera, so it's kind of on the thin side, and I was going to put foam tape beneath it. So I went ahead and backed it so that it would be a little bit sturdier with that foam tape on there. I really like doing these classes. One thing about it, I do the layout faster than I would normally do it because some of the decisions are kind of made for me. Although you don't have to follow along completely. Like I didn't do a 2-page layout. And where she used cardstock, I used pattern paper just because I wanted to use all this pattern paper. It is all so pretty. Well, I don't know if you want to say pretty with a boy collection, but it is. Um, where Khristina had her title up on the top left, I've been wanting to use the stickers on there, the thickers. I mean, well, they're not thickers because they're simple stories, but the foam words. I wanted to use them on my layout, and the first one I'm using is totally legit, and so that's going to be my title. But I'm going to add a couple other little phrase stickers, I guess. Well, one is a word, it's not a phrase. And then the other one, I'm going to use my stamps. Khristina used stamps, and there is stamps in the collection. And I thought, okay, I'll use my stamps. And where I end up putting the stamps, I thought, well, I got extra, you know, I could use something else, or I could cover it up in case it didn't work. So I'm putting the first stamp right now on there, and it's going to be Bro, and it's a pretty good size stamp compared to a few of the others on the layout. And it's going to work on there so well. I thought, I'm going to stamp over the top of that blue label, just like it wasn't there, and get part of that black, which looks like tire tread. And it worked beautifully. It stamped clean. And I mean, I was thrilled. I'm really thrilled. I didn't even pull out my stamping platform. I just stamped and it worked out good. And then I'm going to use one more. Yeah, I think she used several, but I'm going to use one more, so I'm going to use two. I used to stamp all the time on my layouts when I was going to close to my heart workshops, and so I have plenty of stamps. But, I was never comfortable with it because I'd always worry it'd mess up. It makes it a whole lot easier if you know you got more of something. So, yeah, I'm going to stamp again, and I'm stamping on that little red label. And there are several layers. I can't even talk. There are several labels in there. So I figured if I messed it up, I could grab another one. And this stamp says, "You're killing it." So it's a cute little tiny stamp. And it's going to go straight on that label. And I didn't want it to move, so I just put adhesive on the back. and stuck it to my mat there. Yeah, I know. They say don't put adhesive on these mats, that they cut better and heal better if you don't have adhesive on there because it don't get in the little tiny little grooves in there, because it's made some way where you can cut the groove and then it'll go back together. And although that was the first thing that went through my mind when I was putting adhesive on there, I did it anyway. Yeah. But I'm making a tiny cluster down there at the bottom of my title. And then I'm going to make a bonus cluster before I'm done. So yeah, I'm going to have my 3 clusters and a bonus one on here. Just because I want to use a brad, and I was looking at it and couldn't decide where to use that brad. I do have a whole package over there, so yeah, I needed to use at least one on this layout. I had that yellow little sticker there, and I was going to use it. Maybe it was chipboard. It might have been chipboard. Anyway, it said teenager. It hit me. He's not a teenager here. This was, well, he was 9 and would be 10 in October. So, yeah, he was not a teenager yet. Oh, and see that star paper? I think that might be my most favorite one of the whole collection. I have seen people cut the whole thing out, which I probably will do. Yeah, I'll probably fussy cut all of it. Maybe not all at once, but I'll probably fussy cut it. But they are the cutest stars. They're already layered for you and stitched also. So, yeah, I thought they were adorable and I couldn't wait to use them on a layout. I and if you ever decide you want to take up fussy cutting, go for a star page. They're a lot easier to cut out than some and faster. So it will not take you as long to do one like this as maybe flowers with leaves and everything. Yeah, but I'm cutting out several to use on layout. I'm going to kind of use them like enamel dots. I'm going to put 3 in each cluster. Well, one is just a partial, that one that's by that big circle over my elbow. It's just a partial at the bottom, which I always cut those out too, because, like you can see it peeking out there. It looks just fine. And I'm going to decide I need one more thing on here. Well, besides my bonus cluster. And so, yeah, I'm going to pull my die out and do a little bit of die cutting. I'm going to cut one thing to go on here, which, I love to put die cuts on layouts anyway. So, yeah, I was probably had my subconscious going and saying, okay, you're in a class. You have to work fast here, but you got to put a die cut on here. Yeah, I don't put as many die cuts on the layouts when I'm in the class because it is a faster pace than I'm used to, because y'all know I'm slow. I decided to use that star. It's like a star in a circle, and those are just so cute. And I do make them every now and then with my punches and dies. But I decided to layer it with the same colors that are underneath the photo there. And so it's a good thing I went ahead and got it. I had plenty to do it with. But I took the star and then I used a 1 1/4 inch, and it might be 1 3/4 inch, but I did layer them. And so it's going to make it made it a little bit harder to put the brad through there, but it was worth it because I think it turned out cute. And I stuck a little bitty sticker from the sticker sheet in there too. And I did layer that. Yeah, I layered it with that scrap of blue. Well, it's part of the branding strip. I am using part going on the very bottom of the branding strip on the layout too. And that little epic, it's kind of hard to tuck in there because it's so tiny. But my branding strip fits perfect down there, and it looks like it's continued on from like up at the top. And I like that. And the die that I'm using to go over there on the left hand side is, well, when I searched for it, I thought I need some stuff, a die that I can add to boy pages. And so all I did was search for geometric shapes. And I looked at quite a few before I got this one. And then I ended up getting some more after that. But this was my first geometric shape uh, die hunt that I went for. And I'm going to just scatter 3 stars in there, and I think I'll be done with my layout. I think that's the last thing that I do to it. But I want to thank you all so very much for joining me on a Sunday afternoon, and hopefully you're having a nice, relaxing day and maybe getting to scrap a little bit. But yeah, and that stop sign, I couldn't resist. I had to put that on there. It's like there's no reason for it to even be there, but I liked it. So yeah, it's on there. And there's my grandson. He's playing on the laptop. He had a game saved on there and was playing it. I think that's what he was doing. Um, and the other one's sleeping. I sat in the middle so they could look out the windows. And here, neither one is looking out the windows. They never do. I don't know why I bothered sitting in the middle. But I could see just fine. So, yeah, I was just sitting there looking around. And I probably got bored, is why I took the photos. But, yeah, that's my layout. And if you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those of you who already are, thank you so much. And there's my bro stamp, and see how well it's stamped right over the top of the label? Yeah, I was pretty proud with that. I was tickled. But have a happy, scrappy week. Take care and stay safe. Bye.